Hello and welcome, everybody. This is the Hot Corner Insider Live Strategy Session. I'm your host, Steve Straza. I am the Director of Research at All Star Charts. We do this show every week right here on Stock Market TV at 1 o'clock Eastern Time on Wednesdays. So happy hump day, everybody. We have so much to talk about today. Let's get through the disclaimer. What's up, chat? David, Jeffrey, Che. Nothing we discuss here today constitutes any solicitation to buy or sell any securities. This is all solely for information purposes and not to be construed as investment advice. For more on the disclaimer, check it out, stockmarkettv.com/terms. Bitcoin is about to break out. This is probably the chart structure that you're used to seeing. What are we doing here? We're looking at a monthly chart. I've zoomed it all the way out to cycles ago. 2019 shows Bitcoin coming off, a couple $1,000 on the left-hand side of the chart here, putting in a big multi-year rally. This was COVID. It's a nasty stick right here. Big multi-year rally higher. And then we paused. We started digesting gains. Crypto as a group really paused in early 2021, right? Bitcoin had a series of peaks here. We used to call this a double top, right? But now it's just a big old base, right? Because we're right back at the scene of the crime, those old all-time highs. In fact, we set a new all-time high just a few months ago. So we have a multi-year base, multi-year consolidation. We're knocking on the door. 73,000 breaks this pattern out. We're trading around 71 right now. Now let's look at a weekly chart. Zoom in a bunch. Do the same exercise coming off of the lows from last fall. This shows Bitcoin down around 30,000. It was late October of last year. These are weekly candles. Big multi-month rally. And then digesting these gains. A nice base, a tighter base than the multi-year base, right? Call this market fractals. It's a phenomenon for technicians where the same patterns will occur and show themselves on different time frames. So that's what we're doing here. Multiple time frame analysis. This is a multi-month base. We're knocking on the door. 73 breaks this out. Now let's zoom way in. This is a daily chart of Bitcoin going back to the May lows when Bitcoin was back in the mid to upper 50,000 range. We rally, we make this new all-time high. This was just, oh no, I'm sorry. This was the all-time high back in March, right? So this was May 20th. We make a new multi-week high, and then we're digesting. Been digesting for 2 weeks now. 73,000 breaks this pattern out. All these patterns break out. Monthly chart with the multi-year base, the weekly chart with the multi-month base, and the daily chart with the multi-week base. It could all break out with one big candle here today. Why do I think it's coming? The best ones are already going. Here's Binance. This is Binance's multi-year base, right? If we zoomed in here, this would be the multi-month base, right? So Binance is basically like this a few days ago. And now it's like this, breaking out in a big way. It's even higher than this. This is old data. We're trading in the 700s right now. The big point here is that we have eclipsed these prior cycle highs from 21 and 22. Excuse me. Now, let's talk about the environment. If you ask me what kind of environment Bitcoin would be breaking out to new all-time highs in, dollar and rates rolling over, breaking their trends. This is coming off of the December lows of last year, short-term trend lines, right? Couple touches on each. This stands out, right? You could draw these like channels, right? Rising channels here, and they're breaking. We're violating this trend line support. So I would say, yeah, dollar and rates probably rolling over a bit, giving some back if Bitcoin's breaking out. I would also say tech stocks are probably ripping, trading at new all-time highs. So with the pressure, particularly from software, and some of the mega growth names, but mostly software, pressure in software sent tech looking like a failed breakout. right? Falling back into this box just the other day, but now we're surging higher today. Tech stocks are on fire right now. Right? I wouldn't expect this line to be moving this way, right? As Bitcoin is moving this way, right? I would think tech and Bitcoin should be moving in the same direction. And today we're seeing that. What do we do? Well, you could just buy Binance. That's one way to do it. Looks as good as anything right now in the crypto space. I think you could also buy Coinbase, though. Binance is the largest crypto exchange in the world. Coinbase is the second largest crypto exchange in the world. Typically, Binance does the overseas crypto activity, and Coinbase does the US-based crypto activity. Back in Q1, we had massive rally. Binance like more than doubled. Coinbase more than doubled, right? These big rallies here from February through March, right? But Binance led, which is what we tend to see here for whatever reason, and broke out to new highs 2 weeks before Coinbase did. So Binance breaking out to new highs just these past few days here. How long does it take Coinbase to follow? I don't think it's going to take very long. I think it's starting right now. How do we play it? I think you could jump this entry if we're above this VWAP. The VWAP is currently coming in around 233. We are trading at 248 and change right now. You jump that entry, you get confirmation at the 62% retracement, which is also the pivot high from Q1. So that high shown here at this last red arrow is this high right here. You're going to get that confirmation. And then it's off to new highs. Blue skies and new all-time highs is what I'm thinking for Coinbase. If the chart of Bitcoin starts to look like this chart of Binance, and then more and more cryptos like Solana and other leaders start to look like this, back above those prior cycle highs, well, why wouldn't Coinbase be back above its prior cycle highs? That puts it in the 400s. So I think you could jump it. You can get long here. I think you get confirmation at this 278-ish level. And then we're targeting 430, which I believe was the IPO day high. Yeah. The IPO day intraday high. Ooh. MicroStrategy is another one. Continue to think it's a great vehicle. That changes if Bitcoin loses leadership, right? Which I am anticipating happening, but I'm not really seeing it happening quite yet. Right. So I think we want to be prepared for a world where MicroStrategy is a less optimal vehicle to bet on higher prices for crypto or to bet on this crypto bull market. And where something like Coinbase is a far more optimal vehicle, right? I think that happens when Bitcoin stops being such a big leader and breadth starts to expand and more altcoins are being traded and moving higher and breaking out. Coinbase is going to benefit a lot from that activity. MicroStrategy is just levered to the price of Bitcoin, which has been great, right? But imagine a world where all the altcoins start making new highs and maybe Bitcoin's consolidating and loses that leadership. MicroStrategy is not going to be the vehicle that we want then. For now, I'm in both. I'm also in Marathon. This is a much higher risk, higher reward vehicle. It's far more volatile. It's got a hefty short interest. These stocks have been dogs. They've been big laggards, especially relative to other crypto equities like Coinbase and MicroStrategy. But we have our levels, like something like Marathon, 19. We're trading around, let's see, Mara right now, flipping green on the day. Oh boy. We're trading around 2060 right now in the Mara. So if you're out, you lose less than $2. I'm sorry, if you're wrong on the trade, you lose less than $2. If you're right, you're going to make a lot. If you're right, well, first, we're going to go back to these year-to-date highs around 34. That's 65% move. And then if, God forbid, we head back to those old highs from the prior cycle, that's 84. You're looking at like a quadruple from here. I like Mara a lot. I like it even more today because Carisdale Capital just published a short report saying mostly things that I think the market already knew about all of these Bitcoin miners. Let's just read their comments. Oops. Today, we launch a war against Bitcoin miners, an industry of snake oil salesmen that are incinerating both investor capital and the environment and should be banished from America, much like the Chinese RTO frauds that we helped kick out a decade ago. And then they conclude their report saying, we like Riot on the short side. Riot is especially bad. They were saying the whole group is bad, but Riot, really bad, right? They're talking about here in this illustration, the post-halving Bitcoin mining unit economics. Long story short, mining for Bitcoin is far less profitable in the post-halving world or post-halving world, right? Again, no new news here. They talk about the share count rising at an alarming rate in these companies, using Riot as an example again. I'm sure they mentioned the employee comp being a huge issue for these companies and just poor leadership, right? Again, I think all of these things were pretty much known by the market. That's why these stocks have not been working while everything else in the crypto world, at least from an equity standpoint, has been working. So I don't think the market learned anything new today. And even with this short report coming out today, some of them are flipping green on the day. I kind of love that. I love that setup, right? So Mara against 19. It's go time. Look at the short interest here. Almost a 30% short interest. Gotta love that. Look at how the short interest balloons at bottoms too, right? This low here, this low here. Got elevated short interest at this low here, right? Do we look back and say, ooh, look at that elevated short interest at this little trough here? Marathon, all day above 19. It appears that software stocks are not so bad after all. I think it really just took one good earnings report to turn this whole kind of feel around for this group. They have been selling these things and asking questions later on every earnings report that hits the wire. It happened to CrowdStrike yesterday. I think we look back and we say, wow, this was an obvious failed top. Of course, software stocks aren't going to top out and roll over in the middle of the bull market. We were just talking about selling puts in this on the analyst call. Software is not going anywhere. There will be winners and losers. I think CrowdStrike continues to be a winner. What's it doing right now? After testing the pivot lows here, the April low and the February low here, in the after hours last night, as soon as the report came out, we traded down to the 280s, right? Just plunged below the prior cycle highs. This looked nasty for like 1 minute. And then it hooked higher. Look at the lower shadow on today's candle. If you pull up your daily chart at home, you'll see what I'm talking about. A huge lower wick. And really, if you included the after hours trading, you can draw that wick all the way down to 280. It's just a monster move. I absolutely love the price action coming off of the earnings report yesterday. By the way, the earnings report was incredible. Company's growing at like 35% year over year. Free cash flow margin is around 33% as well. So they're collecting this money. There's just a lot to like here. I continue to think this is best of breed in terms of cybersecurity stocks. So we like it long, still above 300. We think next stop 425. ServiceNow, this one's going to drive me crazy. I got stopped out of it last week. I'll probably be back in it next week. It looks like ServiceNow really hooking higher in a big way these past couple of sessions, up another 3.5% today, starting to fill the gap from that was the Salesforce earnings report, I think, and that wasn't even the ServiceNow earnings report that it got crushed on, down 12% last Thursday. We hook higher back above, call it 708. I think you got to be involved. It looks like we're heading in that direction. We're at 695 right now. So a couple points away, about 2% away. ServiceNow long above 708, target 938. Duolingo. Probably not a top. Probably a multi-year base breakout. We're above 205. I think we can have conviction that this is not a top. I think we get confirmation at these pivot highs, which come in right below 250, and our target will be 294. There are cleaner setups than this, though. Uber is one of them. After digging in here at the VWAP from the Q4 low or the October lows from last year, which is also at the prior cycle highs, right around 64, we are rebounding in a big way today for the Uber. $66 currently trading at, up about 2% on the day. I continue to love this against 64. I think Uber reasserts that old leadership that we all came to know and love last year. I think you see more leadership from Uber in the future. Just take a look at this if you're kind of on the edge with the price action from Uber recently. When the trend was lower, which is highlighted here by the red moving average, this is a 200-day moving average, and it is color coded based on the slope, the direction of the line. When the primary trend was lower and the 200-day moving average was sloped lower, rally attempts failed. All these rally attempts failed. It wasn't until the trend shifted higher, we had this rising 200-day moving average, where all of a sudden bulls, started to control the trend. And then corrective waves would fail, right? Here, if you caught it in early 2023, 65% leg higher. If you caught it in Q4 of last year, 100% leg higher into the highs from earlier this year. And now we're back kind of in the same place, back at that 200-day. Why wouldn't this corrective wave fail as well? Right? And the primary trend kind of reassert itself here. What a clean level. I don't think this time will be any different. Sorry, I have cat hair all over me. ASML Holdings, same setup. This is the same chart. These are all the same charts. And if you're getting bored of me showing the same charts, well, that's information. These are the best charts right now. They're the cleanest setups. These are leadership names. They're back above the prior cycle highs. They're digging in. Our risk is so well and clearly defined. If we're wrong on these trades, we're going to be out quick and not lose too much. I'm just gonna keep hitting on these names. I like them that much. ASML holding in after a nice little shake last month, right below this 900 level, back above it. I think next stop 1225. AMD, man, it's right there. It's coiling up tight. The VWAPs are pinching here. Okay. Call it 165. We're trading at 164 right now. I think you drop this VWAP, right, from the year-to-date highs and use that for confirmation. Rather than try to get cute, right, and just buy it against the 164, let it reclaim this VWAP, which literally happens at like these range highs, 170. If you really want to be careful, you could use 172, which is the pivot high. If you were to zoom in on this chart just over the past few weeks. So say 170 for confirmation, 172. 164 is our ultimate out. Don't want to own it below there. But on strength, back above 170, target at 232. I love AMD. I think AMD is a great option for a long entry right here, right now, today. That is it. Let me check the chat, see if anybody's trying to talk to me. Otherwise, I got to go buy some Maricols. Look at this thing hammering. All right, what's up, everybody? Curtis, what's up? Good trends. Tell me Bitcoin isn't too hot right now. Is that what Google Trends says? Hell yeah. Love that sentiment. Ryan, it seems everyone thinks Bitcoin is going to break out. That freaks me out, man. I was talking about the morning show today. Go watch the morning show. We've had some great shows this week. I said that to JC this morning. I said, this almost seems too obvious and too easy for this breakout to happen. Everybody's looking at it. How would I play the I'm not gonna, I don't know, right? I can't come up here. Ryan's asking me, how would I short MicroStrategy? I'm long MicroStrategy. I'm very long, right? So I'm not here to say, here's how I would trade your portfolio or your ideas, right? I'm happy to tell you in great detail how I'm trading my ideas, right? But I'm not going to try to make your trade mine. And I think it's hard for any of you to make my trade yours, right? Which is why we give broad levels and draw them with crayons and not pencils, and everybody's going to be in and out and executing a little bit differently, right? UConn baseball. Shout out Huskies. That's great. What's up, Viper? Nicholas. I love IBIT as a vehicle. It's not optionable yet, and I think that's crazy. That annoys me, but I told my dad to use IBIT as a vehicle to play this impending Bitcoin breakout. Jeffrey, what's up? No updates on Rocket, but let me take a look for you because I know that is a hot corner name. It is a freshly squeezed name. Look, Rocket looks great here. I think the reversal is in, but you want confirmation above this shelf of highs that was set first in December. That happens around 15 bucks, right? You got a high from December, another high from March, and then another high from just last month, all come right around 15 and a quarter-ish. That's your confirmation. So we're right there. We're, 2 quarters away. It's fine. Short squeeze, hot corner. I get it mixed up too. I thought it was a hot corner name for a second. Miracles. Yeah. Those coin riskies did pay. Already took the puts off. My broker called me yesterday and was like, dude, you can't sell this many puts. So I closed a bunch of the puts out at I covered them for 80% less than I collected. So that was great. They paid for the calls. And now let's see, right? We need coin to go though, because the calls are still out of the money, slightly, ever so slightly, a couple bucks out of the money still. Thanks, Jonathan. Yeah, I'm gonna be I already did add to Uber this morning, and I'm probably gonna add a little bit more in common this afternoon. So I'm along the risk reversal in Uber right now also, and very long common. Um, no, you guys are the best. Thank you all for joining me. Thanks for being active in the chat. You guys really make the show a pleasure for me. Join us on the morning show every morning right here on Stock Market TV, 8:30 Eastern time, and Chart Request Live. Bring your ticker requests. Join me, and I think it'll be Spencer tomorrow, 1 o'clock Eastern time, right here on Stock Market TV. Questions, comments, concerns, want to say hi in the meantime, info@allstarcharts.com. Hit us up there. All right, everybody. Peace.